Ladies and gentlemen, it is Wednesday. We are DebateSensei. We are talking about Star Wars on May the 4th. We got Matt Shapiro, Esquire.
Hello.
We got CD from San Diego State University. And
I wanted to play with that on a broadcast for
Professor
2 years
of
now.
Communications, Coach of Debate, Jared.
Thank you, Jared.
So there's a lot on the
I
topic
think
of Star Wars.
I think my signal is not doing very, very well. So go ahead.
The Sith are trying to sabotage this podcast because of the good we were doing.
Very, very choppy, but that's all right because Matt and I are nice and clear. On the subject of Star Wars, there is so much to unpack.
Right.
Personally, one of my favorite debates on this topic of Star Wars is which trilogy is the best trilogy, and then what's the correct order to watch the movies in. So starting with which trilogy is the best trilogy, I feel like this is definitely like a religious feud. So, Matt, what say you?
Okay, well, I mean, if you were to ask me, you're asking me.
I am asking you.
You would watch,
and in your license at stake here, because there's a wrong answer.
For those of you who don't know,
the best trilogy in order.
You know, in chronology of actual human time, the first movie to ever come out was number 4. So I would say you start with number 4.
Okay, you're skipping to my second question, though. The second question is, what order should you watch them in?
Oh, well, the order is because of the greatness. So yeah, I would go.
You start with 4.
I would start with. Oh my goodness, what is it?
New Hope?
New Hope. Thank you, sir. Okay. A New Hope, yeah, for sure. You start with A New Hope, and then and you walk into the Star Wars universe that way. That's what I would suggest. How many movies are there now? I mean, there's like television shows.
10, and then the solo movies, like 11, I guess.
There's so many movies.
So, but in terms of quality, though, do you like the new trilogy or the prequel trilogy that came out when we were kids?
Okay, so
when Jared was in only his middle age.
When you say quality, you're talking about like the graphics, or what do you mean?
How good the movie is. Is it good or bad?
No, like I will stand on my little soapbox right here in this.
That is what we are here for.
Facade of a courtroom and tell you, the first 3 movies are the best movies, and they are the best in quality and in every way. In the story, I mean, it sets the plate for the whole world of Star Wars, and Luke Skywalker is like the dude. And then in my childhood, when I was young. When I was a wee lad, they would like pump out a Star Wars movie once every 10 years, and we were so excited to go see them. And you'd see them, and they're more like for kids. I'd say it's more for kids. I don't know why I feel like the newer trilogy, the prequel. So again, 4 to 6, the best. Exactly. I mean,
I feel like, Matt, you're not really standing on solid ground. Counsel, I need you to make a solid claim here.
Okay, look.
1, 2, 3 better, or 7, 8, 9 better?
I'll disclaim something on this show for all of you right now. I have never seen 7, 8, and 9. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
All right.
That's like a Star Trek movie or something. I don't even know what those are.
Yeah. All right. So,
I blasphemed.
New Hope is not a good movie.
Ooh. Well, I'll see you later, Tim. Now I've lost both of them. His opinion is so wrong that the internet force has stopped him from speaking. So it's
the
just
second that I had that opinion.
Yes. I don't think that was a coincidence. I think that just goes to show you how quickly you should bite your tongue there. Yeah, see, everyone's on my team. Finally, I'm the winner here, okay? I'm smashing everyone. Everyone in here knows that, the first movies are the best. I mean,
The series Empire Strikes Back is terrific. It's very good. I don't deny that. Empire Strikes Back is very good. Return of the Jedi is pretty damn good. New Hope is not good. There are 10 seconds of lightsabers going on, like 10 seconds, and one of them is Obi-Wan Kenobi going like with
Tim,
two hands.
I'm going to tell you something.
The reason, and then he's done. Like, nah, it's a movie's quality. I are contend that there's a debate criteria to be made for the quality of the movie is directly proportional to how much lightsaber action happens in that movie, and therefore, 4 is in dead last.
Are you done?
Now I'm done.
Okay. So, I think what Tim just said illustrates it's a microcosm for what's wrong with the whole world today. Okay, so the reason why TikTok is eroding the youth's attention span in the world, and the reason why the news is being destroyed in front of our eyes with spectacular opinion, is because everyone just wants to see some lightsabers. And I'm telling you that the story, the substance, Luke Skywalker, you meet him, he has no idea about anything. He doesn't know who Darth Vader is or what a lightsaber is. He doesn't know nothing. Spoiler alert. All right, we're about to ruin a 40-year-old movie for you. But the long story short is, they set the table. It's like the beginning of your speech. All right, the advantages is where all the fun stuff happens, but you still got to explain. This is the problem with the world and the inherency, how it's never get fixed. And then Luke, and he starts to appear to be a solution. And then all of a sudden, there's always advantages to seeing Luke and his team, like Han Solo, who's kind of a good guy, kind of a bad guy, and you need all that context to make you want to see the lightsabers so badly. And the lightsaber is the icing on the cake, man. You just want the icing and you don't want the cake. Is that what you're telling me, Tim?
Like, icing's delicious, and cake, if you eat it on its own, is an hour and 30 minutes of prologue. Like, oh, look who joined us, Jared. Look how clear you are. All of a sudden.
Yes, he looks quite well over there. Healthy.
To some degree.
So, I think
look at all these.
A little bit of a contentious feud here.
Oh, and then I stopped again.
Yeah, is the newer ones? Do you mean the 15-year-old newer ones or the new news?
I think he's meaning 7, 8, and 9.
Okay, yeah. So what are those movies even called?
I did read that same study. I did read it, but I don't know. I don't go so far as to say that they're trash. They're just like completely different and like meant for different purposes, right? So like 7 is just a shot-for-shot remake. And, like, it's just for the nostalgia purposes of, like, hey, remember that one time? That was pretty cool. Remember that other one time? That was pretty cool. That other one time? That was pretty cool, too. And, like, it's fun because we hadn't had a Star Wars movie in, like, 8 years. So we need a little bit of a refresher. Right. A little bit of, like, a good, solid throwback.
That was the pull. That was the pull when I was a kid for the prequel trilogy, the original, second trilogy, which was 1, 2, and 3. Those each came out. I remember being like a child when the first one came out. I was like 10. And then I was like 15, like, okay, I guess I got to go see that other one now. I mean, because they were slowed down. Nowadays,
they took a while.
Nowadays, these movies come out almost, year after year after year. Or maybe not
Disney
Star
doesn't
Wars.
Do it small.
But a lot of these trilogies of the various, comic movies and stuff, I mean, they're just rapid fired, all CGI, all lightsaber. There's no story. Everyone's mad because nothing makes sense, but the lightsabers are cool.
Okay, so yes, one has the best action simply because of Darth Maul.
Thank you, Patrick. Awesome. First of all, thank you for confirming Tim's wrongness, and please continue.
2 is only okay. 2 is I will contend.
Is 2 what's that guy's name? What's the friend? What's the silly guy? The silly comic relief. Jar Jar. Which is the one that's just chock full of Jar Jar?
That's 1, and it's
Jar
I mean,
no. It wasn't 1. I think it was 2 or 3, where it's just like a lot of Jar Jar.
It's the first one. It's not good. No. Like, I'm not saying that it's great, but Darth Maul is so
basically
awesome.
What you're saying is the Jar Jar Binks trilogy is the best trilogy. Tim's gonna stand up on his mountain and die on that one.
I will die on the most entertaining film of all of them is Revenge of the Sith, because you get the General Grievous fight. You
Hold on.
get,
General. Okay.
Anakin versus Obi-Wan. You get like all of the really like sweet like space fights. You get the execution of Dooku. You get him turning into Darth Vader. Like 3 is the most entertaining.
Okay.
That hill I will die on.
Let me
more entertaining film than 3.
I'm gonna bring up a point using a separate movie and illustrate some points using that movie. There was a movie that came out a long time ago called thank you, Kylo Ren. I don't even know who that is.
Oh,
but that movie was trash.
Now. You don't get
No, man, look, I don't even need to see them to know they're not as good as 4 through 6. Okay, but let me get back to my Silence of the Lambs point. Okay, in the Silence of the Lambs, Anthony Hopkins won an Oscar for Silence of the Lambs. He's only in that movie like 13 minutes of 2 hours, something like that. There was a huge controversy back then. And my point is, that movie is great because of the tension it builds with not necessarily showing you some of the things that you necessarily want to see. My example being like, Anthony Hopkins, what's his name? Oh my goodness, I can't remember his name.
Hannibal Lecter.
Hannibal Lecter is the Lightsaber Theory. Okay, so if you just want to see Hannibal Lecter, that movie probably wouldn't have been as good because you wanted to see him so badly.
Hannibal.
And Hannibal's the second one. There's a trilogy, I think, there too.
Yeah, and so I guess to your point, like
20 years apart, by the way.
Hannibal's not as good as Silence of the Lambs, and Hannibal is a lot more of Hannibal Lecter.
And it's all lightsabers and knives and shit and stuff.
All lightsabers, not
For
enough.
the same reason Hannibal isn't as good as Silence of the Lambs. That's why Trilogy 1, or the ones when I was a kid, which I'm way younger than the 70s. Jared came out. Jared, were you alive? Let's get Jared back in here, man. Jar Jar is Sith Lord. Is the best Star Wars conspiracy theory.
It's pretty solid. Yeah, you can get down some YouTube rabbit holes with that one. And it's
the first.
Jared's on Tatooine. The internet connection isn't too good out there. He's in Luke's uncle's garage. Hopefully they get some Cat 6 cables working out there.
It's a little toasty. But so the number of theories also that come out of it, like I don't think you get the like fandom meat out of the original trilogy, which like there's
what is a fan? A 6-year-old child?
But I'm saying like while the films are not as objectively good, you know what? No, I'm not
a concession.
The New Hope was originally intended to be a comedy. George Lucas said that he meant it to be a comedy. And it wasn't. It got this like huge cult following.
Right.
And it's neat, but it's also like kind of a silly space opera that like started a whole thing. So I respect it as the first.
Yeah.
But that doesn't make it the best one. It's really not. Like it's not an entertaining movie to watch. I would watch any of the other movies.
Okay. Let me take this in a different direction, Tim. I'm gonna take this in a little bit. I don't even like Jared. Apparently, the dark side has taken over Tatooine. He is gone. Yeah. Hopefully, he comes back. Let's do it this way, because I think you're kind of really ironing me down to the old A New Hope. Okay, I thought that the second movie, Battle of the Hoth, is that what it's called? What's the fifth
Empire
movie?
Strikes Back?
Empire Strikes Back. With the snow AT-ATs and the okay. That movie might arguably better than A New Hope. I mean, I enjoy watching that movie more. And so I'm kind of giving you a little bit of dirt to stand on here, in that I guess what you're saying is there's more lightsabers, and therefore Empire Strikes Back is better. Now, you originally asked me about which trilogy is best. Okay, that was your question.
You've only seen 2 of the 3, so it's not really a good question to ask.
Look, Tim, don't make me watch all 3 of those and come back here and tell you what I'm about to tell you anyway. All right. I have heard of Kylo Ren. I've heard that there's more lightsabers, there's more all this, there's different kinds of lightsabers.
Yeah.
Bro, and it's cool. You know what? I mean, it feels like they're tailoring it for younger and younger people. Because the first trilogy is very much, in my opinion, not for kids. I mean, it's like...
Did you feel really like cheated out of not enough brother-sister romance in the prequels?
Okay,
And
look.
you're like, now
I
they're
will
just-
put
they're-
incestual relationship as the top reason why the first trilogy is best. I will concede. That is why I like them the best. I think the whole world.
And then you're like, ooh, we're not supposed to. root
You go
for
to
that
any
anymore.
porn website and you will see that everyone agrees. Okay, but my point is, I think I like, I just think that it wasn't for kids. There was definitely like I don't know. It took a lot of focus and you didn't understand it the first time, but by the 50th time you're like, oh, I know exactly what's happening. It was kind of like, more of a story. Is exactly what I'm trying to say. It wasn't just about, getting to the next battle scene. It was more of like, okay, these are these people, this is this world, this is this whole thing that you don't even know. And now these new movies get to work off that framework all the time, so you don't have to think about that. But
Right.
I mean, it was only cool because they laid it all out like that.
Yeah,
The tours.
it's a very
All right, thank you, Patrick. By the way,
deep cut opinion.
Yeah.
The original Star Tours ride, where it's random every time, except somehow you always end up on Hoth every single time because it's random.
And why did they change Space Mountain's name? I mean, how is that permissible? Like,
thank God they changed it back now that there's the Star Wars land. But okay, yes, it was. I guess by my standard of engagement, like, am I entertained by it? If we applied that criteria, yeah, I guess so. I guess Star Tours was the best one.
Star Tours? You like Star Wars? I love Star Wars.
So you've got a few other important debates that we would be remiss if we did not include.
Yeah. No, I wanted to talk about a couple
finale
things.
episode. Han shot first.
Please explain. We need a little context. You need a first trilogy. What you're talking about
Yep. So
requires
in
no
New Hope,
lightsabers.
You've got Han at one side of the table. You've got Greedo at the other side of the table, and they are debating. It's a heated, contentious conversation about who took the Millennium Falcon from whom. And then you see that Han's got his blaster under the table, and then you see that Greedo's got his blaster under the table, and then there's an exchange of fire, and Greedo ends up dead, and Han ends up surviving like a space cowboy. Some people call him Maurice. But it turns out when they re-release, so fun little interesting tidbit of fact, the first New Hope, Jabba the Hutt was a person, like an actual human being walking around in people clothes. And then they were like, he should be more of an alien. And so they had to like remake Jabba the Hutt to be the giant slug, which is kind of neat. So that was part of the remastering. When they remastered it, they actually edited that specific scene of Han at the table, and they cut it back, like his blaster, something like 12 frames, I read, and that made him shoot second, so he was the good guy. Fake news. That is fake news right there. And Han totally shot first. He is a bad guy, and it doesn't mean that you don't root for him, but he is not a good guy.
Yeah, no, he's definitely conflicted. Like, he doesn't help them in the beginning, right? He's kind of like, lets them.
He sold him out. Like,
right.
He brought him to Lando Calrissian, that sold him out to Darth Vader. Like, there was some some shakiness going on there.
What's your favorite trilogy? Jar Jar.
Like, if you had to bundle them all three together.
Yeah, you just asked me that question.
Yeah.
I gave you an answer.
I can make good arguments for why the original, so 4, 5, 6. Like,
I already made all those.
Yeah, you did. You sure did. Because they are deeper and there's like more going on. But like, lightsabers are so cool. Did you know how cool lightsabers are? And for that reason,
Darth Maul with a double lightsaber. I remember seeing that. You're like, oh, wow.
I will go ahead and say that the same reason that most like hardcore OG fans like the 4, 5, 6 trilogy for their exact same reasoning.
Right.
I like the prequel trilogy 1, 2, and 3. And that reasoning is, it's the ones that I grew up with, and they're super neat and cool. Because I think if they were standalone, if it was just 1, 2, 3 came out, they'd be like, wow, that is a shockingly racist movie, that Phantom Menace, even though there's really only one race of Jedi.
By the way, for anyone who doesn't know, people kind of say that the whole Jar Jar character in general,
Also, the Trade Federation, also Watto, that's just like, it's not. Wookiee
is just, Wookiee could be a racial slur any day of the week. Let's just put it that way.
So like there are definite flaws. That said, Darth Maul and that whole fight is just so awesome. Like Qui-Gon as a character is so freaking cool, and like understanding the backstory in a very cool way. Pod racing is also awesome. Like there are so many really cool parts. Like understanding the origin story of C-3PO. Like there's some really sweet stuff that comes out there. The second one is awful, but again, we're taking this a package deal. It's a package deal. Like getting to see Yoda fight against Count Dooku. That was really cool. The rest of that movie is very
but not
stupid.
as cool as Luke pulling the X-wing out of the swamp. Like that didn't need a lightsaber. You don't need a lightsaber. That was like, oh my god! When you see that thing,
cool.
Oh my goodness. And he doesn't know
I
nothing.
don't disagree with you. It genuinely, truly is. But
you get to see
if
Luke
we're
go
just
from
counting
zero.
up coolness, you've got 2 out of the 3 original prequels. I think are like fun to watch, good movies. Not so much cringe that you want to puke. And of the original 4, 5, 6, it's like 1.5. Like half of Return of the Jedi is good.
I disagree.
And half of it is okie dokie.
Help us, everyone. We need you.
It's true. And then because of the huge backlash against one,
purple lightsabers.
They brought in diversity, which Ron Burgundy will tell you is an old wooden ship used in Civil War times for the purple lightsaber.
I'll tell you.
They tried to shake it up a little bit. They
series,
missed a lot of steps.
Any series.
They took 7, 8, and 9 as their opportunities to like. We're going to be very inclusive, and I applaud them for that as an organization. But we're just talking about in the universe here.
You remember that show Lost?
Yes.
Remember that show Lost? Okay.
The Dharma Initiative.
The same reason why that show sucked by the end is the same reason why I bet you these 7, 8, 9, and whatever the heck else comes out. You know, these writers, man, like, you can't just keep writing gold forever. I mean, it's I hope you can, and I don't doubt anyone, but like,
no, I'm with you.
There's this idea, and you build out the idea, and now they're just creating new characters in the universe, and that's cool, but really what they're doing is making millions and millions of dollars off parents and being lazy, not making a new movie or a new concept or reading a new book, because it's like they just know that they have this little niche market. Like, I can pump out a Star Wars movie and it will make me $100 million. So just keep doing it. And it's lazy. Nah. It's lazy. It's lazy movie making.
That is where you are dead wrong. You are factually, empirically incorrect.
I disagree.
It is not millions. It is literally billions. Look it up. It is billions.
Billion. Okay, sorry. You're right.
It's not a little niche. It is a billions of dollars niche. So, like, they're cranking those things out to the tune of, like, some nation's GDP. So, like...
So, good for them.
Here's the thing. I agree with you. Like, Breaking Bad, I will contend, is, like, one of the all-time greatest TV shows ever. They ended it while it was still fantastic.
You end it. Peyton Manning quits after the Super Bowl.
Ending. And I respect them to the ends of the earth for that. They could have written another 10 seasons and people would have kept watching. Walking Dead, I'm looking at you.
Some 23-year-old kid.
And I respect that.
Some 19-year-old kid who was born in 2002 is going to write the next movie for Star Wars. And I'm just saying that's not an age issue. It's just, you know, if there's, I don't know. There was an original idea, and they made the idea. They did 3 whole movies. And I remember the second 3 being like, you know, they weren't quite like the first ones. Even as a kid, I remember thinking that.
Yeah.
And like, I guarantee you, the reason why I haven't seen 7, 8, and 9 is because I don't want to be disappointed like I've disappointed my parents since I was a child. I do enough disappointing in my life. I don't want the mirror turned back on me.
I think that it is worth it.
George Lucas's
as a company,
name.
We should watch this. We'll get together. We'll have a night.
We will watch 7, 8, 9.
Nothing else, just to like appreciate the first one. They get you. I am certain if you like 4, 5, and 6, you will like Force Awakens. You will because it is more or less a shot-for-shot remake of Return of the Jedi, and it's
basically
great.
A very lazy movie, is what you're saying. It was like, how do we not have to
like,
think and make $100 billion?
You mad respect that they made Return of the Jedi probably on like $50 and like a case of beer as their budget, like where everything was done in miniatures and like sound effects in like George Lucas.
Let's get a TIE fighter flyby.
Yeah, right. Like
Here, Tim, ready for this?
like that's the actual quality of this of Return of the Jedi. They have Disney money to make Force Awakens, so it's like all the things that you really wished that Return of the Jedi could have done really well, they did. And like it's just like it's like callback after callback.
The Return of the Jedi did everything well. Okay, I want to propose a resolution. Only a Sith deals in absolutes. Would you like the ass or the neg?
I will take the affirmative.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, tell me your case.
Right. So the person that said that, Obi-Wan Kenobi, should realize that he was also making an absolute. Only a Sith deals in absolutes is an absolute.
What is an absolute? That's a good point.
Because he's responding to Anakin saying, either you're with me or you're my enemy. To which he responds, only a Sith deals in absolutes. Which he should have realized we're now on the same page as that call and response goes.
That's the smartest thing I ever heard in response to that, saying that is an absolute. So either he's wrong or he's a Sith, and you're talking about Obi-Wan Kenobi.
So that's where I think that like Obi-Wan Kenobi isn't your perfect Jedi paragon. I think that he made enough mistakes that like I don't think anyone is just a Jedi anymore. Like anyone that survived Order 66 is probably pretty jaded and like is maybe a little bit of both.
An absolute, I mean, just to define it, what would you call it? What is it?
I will say a
statement made with certainty. Or
yeah, there's a word for that, but anyways, it'll come to me in a moment. But yeah, it's a immutable. There's the word I was looking for. It's an immutable statement. Like it is one way or another. It is a dichotomy. Like there are no.
You are good. You are bad.
Yeah,
there is no difference. So
and
I'm
so
on the neg.
What that's saying is that like only evil people believe that like things are black and white. Things are one way or another absolutes. Right. So yeah, I'll buy that because I think like. Everything is gray is kind of my feel. Like everything is shades of gray. I don't think there's really anything that's like a perfect absolute. So yes, the statement only a Sith deals in absolutes I will take as the affirmative because like only bad guys think that things are too perfect. Hey, look who made it and it's super clear. Your hair must have grown at least an inch while you were gone.
What a Wookiee! Oh man, Jared, give the neg.
So if you didn't hear, the resolution is only a Sith deals in absolutes. I took the affirmative.
Yeah, I think politicians they speak in total uncertainty and vagaries, and they don't do anything, and they're supposed to help us. So they are the Sith. They are the bad people who don't tell you what we're going to actually do, and they don't say it with anything with certainty because they're scared they're not going to deliver. So I would say that speaking in vagaries and uncertainties is the bane of the political world in the United States. Jared?
Yeah, sounds like Matt's on. You're on my side then. I'm with you there.
I'm lagging too much still.
Yeah. All right. Well then, so Matt, were you just making an argument on the affirmative, just to throw
no, the negative
there, or were you trying to say negative there?
Yeah, I'm saying to speak in vagaries and uncertainties, nothing gets done. There's a lot of masking arguments that can be made. Be like, oh, like you're saying you're solving something, you're not doing anything. What we need is to solve for healthcare, and you are doing something else, but you're selling it in some vague or uncertain or mutable way that it can't be strictly defined as what you're actually trying to get people behind you with. You know what I mean? So I guess what I'm saying is speaking in absolutes, saying things directly can and sometimes are very important. That way people know where you stand, especially in the political universe of the United States. Maybe not so much in the world of the Force and Star Wars.
Yeah, like I'm generally with you that like politicians be evil, and I don't like trust them, and because they like say everything.
And they
so
don't
that
speak in
back.
absolute.
But,
sometimes
like,
they do.
Campaign promises, right? Like they'll phrase it in such a way that like the bar is real low, and theoretically they can always accomplish it. So like, I hear you on that front, but I also think that like accomplishing anything typically requires compromise, and so if
Also, it reminds me of Elon Musk. He's a good ass example where he keeps saying like, "We're gonna have the semi truck next year," and that was 10 years ago. It's like, dude, you didn't do that. You keep saying things that you don't deliver on. But that's absolute. He's sure. He says things in total absolute. So maybe Elon Musk is a Sith. Sith Lord.
I don't think that anyone would disagree with you.
All right. Well, there you go. There's your 30 minutes. Done.
Jared, now that you finally perfectly come in clear, and it seems like your audio is on time, just in time.
Yeah. So when are we coming back here, Jared?
Yeah. Perfect, right? Oh man, I think after NFALD topic drops, which I saw was in July. I think we'll be back in July.
Good. Yep. So that's going to be it for season whatever.
Did anyone
this is.
get that?
Yes, we heard that it's going to be back in July, something like that.
5. All right, everyone. Hey, that's our time. Hopefully, I'll have this figured out in July. We'll see you next time. See you later, everyone. What is going on?
This is the best episode we've ever had.
The Debate Sensei strikes back. It still says we're live. Don't swear.